we can all make excuses about how hard it is, how people don't listen, why we need to quit, why we need to start our own companies, or we can actually just bring about change. And the one thing about change is that it's constant. It happens with or without us or in spite of us. And what seems to be constant additionally is that those people who are making decisions, those executives who best need your help, don't know that they need your help yet. But if you look across multiple traditional industries, right, reality always sets in. Failure is also a constant. We have to learn. Failure is among us in every industry. And failure is what greets us for those who don't want to change. This whole idea about the digital upgrade is that it introduces a need for us to upgrade. Introduces an opportunity for us to think differently, to do things differently. And that has to start with you. We can't just all pat each other on the back because we're all on Twitter and we're all on Facebook and we're all using mobile phones or tablets and we're now the society that gets it. It's about like marriage. You're not in a marriage for you to be as happy as you can be for making the other person happy. And that's what this is about, is actually taking what it is you're learning and helping others learn, or flern. I love saying that. We need a hashtag on that. So that way, society can grow along with us instead of creating elitism. And so if you think about what it is that's causing this change, it's part technology. But I would argue that I think we get too caught up in technology. We react to technology. Technology is at the center of all these conversations. Technology is at the center of all of these businesses in terms of what their new innovation program is. What's our Facebook strategy? What's our Twitter strategy? What's our mobile strategy? But if you think about what technology is doing to us, that's what we have to better understand. So we have to actually better understand people. When I talk to executives, the challenge that they have is they think all of this is a trend. Some weird thing is going to happen when you wake up tomorrow where you're just suddenly not going to use your mobile phone, or you're not going to use Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or whatever your network of the month is. That somehow we're going to go back to, I don't know what it is, rotary phones and newspapers. We all know that that's not going to happen. So the best thing that we can do is stop being skeptical. But we can't tell people to stop being skeptical. We have to help them see what they don't see today. It's a different approach. A lot of this has to do with the psychological dynamics of how we get people to see things our way, the art of influence. It is clear that consumerism is changing. But what we can't do is try to reverse engineer it because of technology. Instead, what we have to do is reverse engineer the steps that people are changing because of, or how they're changing them. Nobody is immune to this, I guess is the point. The best help that we could do is essentially investing in company strategies to better understand how to survive, right? And how to survive is about competing for the future. I think we all tend to compete for the moment rather than competing for the future, and there's a difference. When you compete for the future, you're solving for problems that you may not have to deal with today. For example, one of the main reasons that a lot of businesses fail over time, like Kodak, is because they're profitable right now. And it's hard to make the case to change when you're profitable. But the most successful business leaders will tell you that in order to stay profitable, you actually have to compete for tomorrow. And you have to see what tomorrow brings you while you're still competing for today. And I refer to this as digital Darwinism. It's this evolution of technology and society, right? And you're measured by how well you adapt or how you don't. This is as much about psychology and social science as it is about technology. We all talk about change, but very few of us actually start with ourselves. And that's what the rest of this conversation is about. In order to have an impact on your business, an impact on the future of your business, you have to figure out what it is that you are not doing right today. What is it that my customer or my employee expects? How do they behave? How do they make decisions? How are they influenced? And all of these things are social dynamics, and I don't mean social media, I mean social science. By competing for relevance is essentially competing for the future. You stay relevant merely by trying to compete for it. In 2 years, millennials are 70% of the workforce. And when you sit and talk to an executive about their greatest frustrations, some of them will tell you, well, you know, the problem is that we have this new generation of employees who are entitled. They're all the trophy generations. They all get awards just for showing up. I had to earn my position here. I had to pay my dues. They don't get it. They're always looking at their screens and they're missing the real world around them. And that's part of the problem. That's ignorance. That's not understanding why somebody is who they are. And instead of accepting it and trying to lead it, it creates an us and them. It creates tension. And the same thing is happening when you don't acknowledge how your customers are changing. Your whole life experience that brings you to this moment right now is that of your personal life, your professional life, and you're making decisions every day based on how you got here. You trust your gut, you trust your judgment. And right now, all of my research shows that that's actually working against you. That's working against executives. That's working against competing for the future because you're making decisions based on how you see the world, not how other people see the world. And the minute that you step outside of your own perspective, when you step into the shadows of others, you actually start to see the world differently, and hopefully it inspires you. Digital transformation, to be clear, is not social media. Social media is part of that. Digital transformation is understanding how someone interacts with the screen in the context or the state of mind that they're in throughout the entire customer lifecycle or the employee lifecycle. In fact, the best businesses already have digital anthropologists on staff trying to figure this out. They're investing in culture and innovation as a way of competing for the future because culture is a big deal. Some of the best companies, for example, are reverse mentoring, where they're, instead of saying, oh, you connected kids, you entitled generation, they're saying, teach us. Because we're not going to resign our positions, nor do I plan on dying tomorrow. So I still have this job, but I need to be successful in it. And to be successful in it, I have to understand you, and I have to be able to lead you. And so what happens as an organization starts to compete for relevance? When they start to embrace digital as a lifestyle. Profits go up. Morale goes up. Revenue goes up. Oh, those are the things that are supposed to be good for business. So this is why that formula of ignorance plus arrogance equals irrelevance. And even those businesses that are investing in technology, say those with social media strategies and those with responsive web designs, are still missing the point. It's not an access thing. It's not just showing up where you are or where your attention is focused. It's about capturing someone's attention and doing something meaningful with it. Guiding a journey, creating an experience that means something. That's what relevance is about. You have to acknowledge how someone goes throughout their day and optimize that. To be employee-centric or customer-centric, you have to better understand who they are, not how you are. And we make decisions, we roll out technology, we invent products or create product roadmaps that are all based on how we see the world. And that works for now. But over time, it doesn't. I think this takes vision, and I think this takes leadership. I do not believe that the future takes wonderful talent in management. I think this is a time for leaders. This is a time to see what other people can't. I think this is a time to do things or do the things that other people can't or won't. Because it's not just about marketing and it's not just about your technology investments, it's how they work together to actually create an experience before, during, and after transactions. It's not about how you can get more Twitter followers or how you could be more successful in your social strategy or your digital strategy. It's not just about what kinds of intranets you can use, what kind of social networks you can bring in to get rid of your old intranets so that employees collaborate better. It's about how do we use technology to actually do something better than we did yesterday? How do we keep using technology to execute against our vision? Well, it starts with a vision. What are you trying to do? What is the state of your customer and your employee experiences today? And what would you do to change it? We're not only change agents, I actually believe that we're experience architects, and we have to be able to articulate what that experience should be. In the next couple of years, almost a quarter of all businesses are going to have a chief digital officer role. What is that? It's someone who balances marketing, customer experience, and technology. And it's someone who understands what the customer experience should be because they live and breathe it. Not just how they talk at people or market at people or sell to people, but instead how they guide someone, how they make someone feel, how they understand the screens and how they use the screens, what state of mind, what context they're in order to guide them over and over and over again. Every company, I don't care if you're in business to business, I don't care if you're in government, every company has to act and think like a consumer tech company. For those entrepreneurs in the room, what we're saying is we have to actually start to think like you. We have to think like tech startups. We have to think like startups. We have to be more nimble. There's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of vision. There's a roadmap that we have to follow, that we have to create in order that so other people can follow with us. There has to be leadership that we bring together, even if we're not the ultimate leader. But the most important thing that I've learned in all of my research is that if we don't rethink the reward system within our organization, people aren't going to be inspired to actually stay on the change management path. You're not going to want to stay a change agent if you're not feeling rewarded. People are not going to want to follow change because change is scary unless they feel like there's incentive for them. It's about seeing things differently than how we were making decisions before. And so because I'm out of time, I'm going to have to switch gears to the panel. But before I do, I just want to say this, that none of this can happen without you. And that if you want to be less frustrated, think about the people that you're trying to change and how they see the world. And help them see it the way that you see it. And in order to do that, you have to understand how to talk the language of the C-suite. So thank you very much for your time and attention.